Welcome to Moving Well. We are continuing on our series with healthy necks and shoulders. And today we will be doing a floor lesson. You're all on the floor. And just a reminder, as always, you want to follow the 9 essentials. Who can tell me what one of the 9 essentials is?
Move slowly.
Move slowly, right. What else? Pardon?
Imagination.
Use your imagination, right. What else? Pardon?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Enthusiasm. Get excited. Yeah, yeah. And he said it so enthusiastically. Yeah. Enthusiasm. Why do you want to get enthusiastic and excited about it?
Because we want to open our mind and be like kids. Good for our mind.
Exactly. So we can, what she said, what just, so we can learn it quick like kids do and make the changes in our brain and not just in our muscles. Anything else you remember?
Small movements.
Small. Why do we do small?
Don't want to go past your level of comfort.
You know, that's true. You don't want to go past your level of comfort. And also, if we move fast, we can only do our habits. And our brain already knows what our habits are, and we don't want to dig those grooves any deeper. So we go slow and gentle so that, well, it's just like communicating. Wouldn't you rather have somebody talk to you kind of slow down so you can hear and be gentle and caring? Well, our brain is the same way. So talk nice to yourself. And be interested. Be interested in what's happening with you, the subtle little changes. And it makes big differences in our brain. All right, the other thing is you'll want to take your glasses off. You can put them on the chair. Does anybody know why we take our glasses off?
Because it changes our eyes.
It changes our eyes. Absolutely it does. And why does it have such an impact on our eyes?
Because they're directly connected to our brain.
Your eyes are that far away from the brain.
Yeah, they're right. They're that close, but actually they're totally connected to the brain because it's the same. You know, if you thought of our brain as a ball of tissue in creation, our eyeballs were like pulled out from the brain. They're the same. That's kind of a graphic description, but it gives you a good image, I think, you know, that they're directly connected to your brain. They have a powerful impact on your brain.
Don't my eyes have to work harder if my glasses aren't on?
If your glasses are on, your glasses hold your eyes to the old shape, to the old image. That's why we take our glasses off. So, I think I mentioned in my Feldenkrais training, I wore contact lenses at the time, which I had to quit wearing. My eyeball, the shape of my eyeball completely changed. I couldn't wear my contacts. Had to change my eyeglass prescription. So it does definitely have an impact. Okay, if there aren't any more questions or comments, go ahead and lay down on your back. And I'm just kind of glancing around to see if everybody has a good support under their heads. So while you're lying there now, begin to just tune in and get a sense of your overall contact with the floor. Might want that one. Notice parts of you that are touching, parts that are not. And of course, notice if there's any discomfort at all. And if there is, that means see if you can shift a little. I'm going to change this a little bit for you. I'm going to start with this. And then I'm going to, let me see what this would be. Okay, and then switch again. Whoops. Try that. How does that feel? Is that good? Comfortable? All right. Feel the way your 2 heels are resting on the floor, the leaning point.
Can we try turning those lights on?
I don't know of a way to.
Because we could turn these
we can try it. I don't know if there's a way to turn those off. But we can certainly try it. Pardon? Just try it and see. Oh, that turns those on. That turns those on. Hey, if those were on, that would be good. That wouldn't be in their eyes, but I don't know how to turn these off. I'll work on that for the new year, unless this switch over here, but I would guess this one's probably an outdoor switch. No, that's not. I will definitely make inquiries about that.
Last Thursday they had these on, and we had all the fluorescent lights off.
Really? Well, we'll find out. Thanks for mentioning that, though. I just thought there was nothing we could do about it. Okay, notice the direction your toes are pointing on your right foot and your left foot, and the relationship that detail has to the leaning point of your heel.
Does it matter where your hands are?
Just resting at your side, unless you're uncomfortable. Sometimes people are more comfortable if they rest them on their hands, but at least for starters, so that you have a contrast. So scan up your right leg, through your lower leg, through your knee, your upper leg to your hip joint. Do the same thing with your left leg, from your heel through your ankle and lower leg, through your knee area, your upper leg to your hip joint. And just compare the two, contrast one from the other. Notice the differences and the similarities. And then bring your attention to your tailbone at the very base of your sacrum. See if you can get a sense of where that is. And that's actually at the very beginning of your spine. So from your tailbone, scan through your sacrum, the solid bone in the middle of your pelvis, to the top of the sacrum at your low back area. Feel the two sides of your pelvis, the right side and the left side. Just noting, are you heavier on one side than the other? How does each side rest? Bringing your attention to your low back area, the 5 lumbar vertebrae. Notice, is there space between your low back and the floor? And if so, how much space? That's one thing that's usually made some changes by the end of a lesson. And then continue on up your spine to your mid-back, where your ribs are beginning to attach to your spine, and up between your shoulder blades to the base of your neck, and from the base of your neck to the base of your head. And then at your own pace, just scan down from the top of vertebra at the base of your head all the way down to your tailbone again. And then feel your 2 shoulder blades, your right shoulder blade, your left shoulder blade. Notice how each one is organized and what part rests on the floor. Does one side rest more heavily than the other? And then from your right shoulder blade, scan down your right arm, through the upper arm to your elbow, from your elbow through your lower arm to your wrist, through your hand, your fingers and your thumb. And then do the same thing from your left shoulder blade. From the tip of your shoulder down your upper arm to your elbow through your lower arm to your wrist, and through your palm and fingers and thumb. And take note of how much of your arm, hand, your extremities are resting on the floor, and where there are spaces. And also pay attention to the distance from your pelvis that your hands are resting. Get a sense of that. And then also to the direction that your palm faces. For some, your palm faces down to the floor. For some, faces to your hips. And the third alternative is that you could be laying palm up. Get a sense of the weight of your head. And notice, does it feel like your head is organized right in the center of your torso? Does it feel like it's a little off to the right or the left? And then very slowly and gently, roll your head just a little bit left and a little bit right. And notice, are you still breathing as you're rolling your head, or are you holding your breath? Now, pay attention to that leaning point of your head. As you're rolling your head, the leaning point kind of makes a mark or a line on your pillow or your towel. Notice, does it roll like a straight line, or does it roll like a curved line, the leaning point? And finally, bring your attention to your breathing. So pay attention to where do you feel the breath go as you inhale and exhale. How deep in your torso do you feel the breath go? Do you feel expansion in your ribs, front to back, or side to side, or not at all? Sometimes there isn't movement in the ribs and the breath goes right to the lower belly. And now bend your knees and stand your feet so they're about hip width apart. And make sure that they're comfortable and so that your knees stand easily. So it's not hard to hold your knees up. If it's hard to hold your knees up, that means you need to shift your feet a little bit. And now begin starting very gently, to gently press on your feet. Just press gently and then let it go. And what we're looking for is to see how far through your skeleton do you feel the pressing of your feet? How far does the force travel now? And just explore. As you're doing it, you can shift your feet a little bit to try to see if any change or any improvement in the force is happening. Just curious here. You let it go, and no, just here. I just want to shift it a little bit. This foot just a little bit. Is that better or worse?
Feel it more in my knee.
Okay, then you put it back where it was. Because your comfort is the most important. And the second is paying attention to how much effort it takes to hold your knees up. And during the lesson, if at any time you're fatiguing and you need to lengthen your legs and rest, do that. Honor yourself. That's more important than continuing to do what I'm saying. And notice, as you're gently pressing on your feet, is there a difference between how the force goes through your skeleton on one side than the other? Now, bring your right arm up. No, let's stop a minute. We're going to rest a minute. Everybody, lengthen your legs and rest. If one person needs to rest, it probably means that there's more that need to rest. And then bend your knees again. Stand your feet. And this time, bring your right arm up to lie on the floor above your head with your palm facing the ceiling. Now, this is also a place where we might need some support in order for the arm to be comfortable. So let's see what we need here. Let's see. Let's put this under here, and we might need more. We're going to need more because if you're in pain, it's a good idea to bring like three pillow or bath towels are a good thing to bring. This needs to come under your shoulder a little more. Okay, now.
That's comfortable.
Okay, can the arm be a little straighter, but not? Okay, you keep it where it's comfortable.
Okay. Yeah.
And if I'm telling you to do a move that would be uncomfortable, don't do it. Just imagine doing it. Okay. You'll get to discover the incredible power of your imagination. Anybody else need help or support under their arm?
Apparently I do.
Okay, let's see what we can do here. What do you have in your bag?
Nothing. I've got it all out.
Okay, you do. All right, let's see. Let's see, what else do we have
I have a towel if she needs it. I have another towel in my bag.
in your bag?
You're welcome. I think I put you in there.
I don't know where your bag
The
is.
one with kid's picture on it right here.
Oh, and there's a,
I thought I took it. Maybe I took it
Nope.
out. Oh, sorry.
no,
Sure.
Sorry, I took it out.
You know, it's not horrible.
well, may I use your coat, Patty?
Sure.
Actually,
I'm gonna pay the price.
she'll say, you owe me.
She will. I'll have to pay her rent.
Does that help?
Yes, that did
Okay,
help.
all right. Yeah, always, guys, it's vitally important that you're not in pain.
I was surprised that my arm hurt.
Do you need some support, Ruben? I think so. Can I use your coat? Can I use your coat?
There's a phone and something else.
Huh? Oh, okay, that would be good. Thank you. She won't mind. Yeah. I wonder if we could slide this over a little. Just I'm going to put this back there. And then put this. Are we getting there?
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Okay. You can.
Takes the
Right.
pain away from whatever this muscle is here.
Okay, now everybody has their. Are you okay, Sandy? Okay. So now, with your arm up, bend your knees, stand your feet again. And now, very gently begin to press on your feet with the thought of the force going through your skeleton, from your feet, through your legs to your hip joints, and going in the direction of your right arm, as if to elongate your right arm. So you press gently and then let it go. You press gently to see where it goes and resist the urge to press gently, feel where it goes, and then push harder. And the reason that you don't do that is your brain is busy getting information. So you press gently, follow where it goes to where it stops, then stop, come back, let everything relax, take a breath, and then gently press again. Because that gives your brain a chance to do a reset. So as you're pressing on your feet now, you press and release. What participates in the movement? You feel the movement in your arms? Do you feel it going through your spine? How about through your hips? You feel it in your shoulder? You feel movement in your rib cage? So you gently press on your feet, and in your mind's eye, follow the force that you feel going through your skeleton in the direction of your right arm. And now change arms. Bring your right arm down and take your left arm up. So that means we'll have to switch stuff. Here, I'll get that because it's going to come all apart. How's that?
Good.
Good? Okay.
Feel that in my right shoulder, that last one.
What do you feel?
A little pain right here, not, just,
Okay, a little discomfort?
yeah,
Okay, were you having pain when we were doing it?
no, yeah, just a little bit, but this whole hand is numb, and I
So
figured.
you have some nerve impingement.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, you have some nerve impingement. So when we do the moves, when you take your arm up, just do a couple moves and bring it down. You accomplish much more by doing just a little bit than going into more numbness and discomfort. Okay? All right. So now, is it different on this side? Do you feel it differently going through your skeleton on this side? It's not as clear? Is it more clear for some people? And when you're, pardon?
It's more comfortable in this.
Yeah. Now, on this side, as you're pressing on your feet, what participates in the movement? Do you feel it going through your legs to your pelvis? Do you feel it in your ribs? Your shoulders? And then slowly bring your arms down, lengthen your legs, and rest. And as you know, this isn't so much about resting as it is about paying attention to what you feel differently, as well as relaxing, letting everything go. And now bend your knees again. This time, bring both arms up. And now, if it's, for anybody that it's uncomfortable to do, bring your arms up so that you can kind of rest if you look for a minute, if there's any discomfort. If you're able to do like one move and then come down, do that. But if you can't let them rest behind yourself, then let your wrists rest on your forehead. And now begin imagining first. Imagining pressing on your feet, following the force going through your ankles and lower legs to your knees, to your hip joints, and through your sacrum, from your hip joints to your sacrum, and up your spine. with the potential of going all the way to your head. But just notice where yours goes. Are you having some discomfort, Ruben?
Yeah.
Okay, then it's counterproductive. Can you rest your arms here? Are you able to bring them up like this at all?
The discomfort is right at the base of my spine.
So is that,
Arms are okay, but, you know, if arms up here, and just as soon as I press down, my lower back twinges. It's really uncomfortable.
okay, let me try tilting your pelvis a little bit. Like lift it up a little bit and intentionally put your low back closer to the floor. And then come down on your low back.
Okay.
And this is going to be good for your low back. So do the movements very gently, paying attention to when you press on your feet and the force is going through your skeleton. Let your belly not be tight, but just softly in so that your back rounds a little. Is your back more comfortable when it rounds?
Yeah.
A little, okay. So that's, and I'm out of supports. Otherwise, I'd give you something for under your pelvis.
I've got a towel in my black and white bag up there.
Let's try putting this under your pelvis, so that it will cause your back to round a little bit. So we want it probably in this vicinity, so it'll help your back round. Does that make it better or worse?
Yes, that helps. That's it.
Okay. Another remedy. So you're gently pressing on your feet, following the force, going through your skeleton all the way to your arms, through your arms to your hands. And if you do it really, really gently without forcing, your brain will begin to make changes. So I know not forcing is probably one of the hardest things to learn in this work, but so let your brain make the changes. So notice your low back, your hips, your ribs, your breathing. And then slowly bring both arms down. Are there changes that you notice? How are you doing, Dolores?
Good.
Okay. And then bend your feet, knees again, stand your feet. And again, just begin to press on your first your left foot, thinking of the force going from your foot through your lower back, through your all the way through your leg to your pelvis, to your low back, going diagonally to the opposite arm. And then press on your right foot, doing the same thing, thinking of it going from your foot through your ankle, your lower leg, upper leg, to your hip joint, and then through your torso again to the opposite shoulder and arm. and alternate. First one and then the other, going in one direction and then in the other direction, looking for that connection through your skeleton. And then lengthen your legs and rest again. And now bend just your left knee and stand your left foot so that it's spread a little from your long leg. And now begin to press on your left foot, thinking of the force going from your left foot through your lower leg to your knee, through your thigh to your hip joint, in such a way that you could roll your pelvis to the right. As you're imagining this, what muscles do you imagine using? Do you use your belly muscles? Do you use your back muscles? As you're imagining, can you sense your vertebrae turning? And then actually begin to press on your left foot with the thought of the force going from your foot through your lower leg to your knee, through your thigh to your hip joint, in a way that allows your pelvis to roll to the right. And now as you're actually doing it, pay attention to what muscles you use. So you roll a little bit and then you come back to neutral. Resist the urge to roll a little bit, hang out there, and then try to push further. We always want to go to where we go in complete comfort and ease, and then come all the way back to neutral, let it rest, because in that move, you've given your brain some information that it's going to begin to reorganize in your system so that you're going to be able to do the move more easily. Okay, now the next time that you press on your foot to roll your pelvis to the right, pull your belly in. Pull your belly in real tight. Suck it in. You know that old suck it in, tuck it under theme. And then press on your foot and roll your pelvis to the right. How does that feel? Where do you feel the strain?
All the way up my back.
All the way up your back. Oh, might be some cause for back pain, huh? Okay, now intentionally push your belly out as you press on your foot to roll your pelvis to the right. And then come back to neutral. I like the nice slow way you guys are moving. And now lengthen your leg and rest. Now, as you're laying there, just push your belly out and feel, just to have a feeling for what is it right now. What's it like to push your belly out? And now, place your fingertips down on your low belly, just so it's just above your pubic bone. So your fingers are touching your pubic bone, so you're feeling where the muscles attached to your pubic bone. And now, intentionally cough. And feel what happens under your fingers. You got your fingers right down to your pubic bone. And cough. Do you feel, are you feeling that there's more movement outward, a little closer to your pubic bone than when you just initially pushed your belly out? Anybody feel that? Okay, so that's potential for you guys. So now, do this without coughing. So just take a breath, and then exhale, flattening your chest and pushing your belly out without coughing. And see if it feels like it goes any closer to your pubic bone. Now. And then again, cough, just to have you the comparison. And then just leave it alone for a moment and rest. Could you sense, what is it I want to ask? Can you sense the difference in strength, in availability of your abdominal muscles when you have your belly pushed out and when you have it pulled in? I want to just do a little demo. Let's see. You're right here. Okay, everybody can watch this. Okay, bend your left leg. And now pull your belly in and roll your pelvis to this way. That should be on this side. So pull your belly in, roll your pelvis to that side, and stay there. Okay, now stay there, and don't let me push your pelvis down.
Oh. Oh.
Whoops, I slid right off.
That's a little
Okay,
painful.
now push your belly out, and roll your pelvis. And with your belly pushed out to the side, feel the difference.
Oh, yeah.
Quite a difference, isn't it?
Yes, I'm pushing back at you. Yeah.
So that's an important piece to remember. When we suck our belly in, what it does is it makes our back muscles really vulnerable. And we've lost our strength. Anybody else want me to do it to them? Just so you can feel? So, okay, so now, which leg am I on? Bend your left leg. Bring your right arm up with your palm facing the ceiling. So your right arm is up above your head, palm facing the ceiling. Now, press on your foot, your left foot, transferring the force over to your right arm and hand. So as you're pressing, you're thinking of the force going from your foot through your skeleton, for your leg, and then diagonally to lengthen your right hand.
Lengthen her hand?
Pardon?
To lengthen her hand?
You feel to feel the force. If you feel the force going through your leg and over to that arm, and think of your skeleton able to move. So you're thinking of reaching, but you're using your, just as if you were standing and you wanted to reach something on a high shelf. Okay. You'd be lengthening. So you reach and then you let everything relax. Let's see if you can have a little support here. Try that. See if that's better.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if you're uncomfortable, don't hesitate to say so, because there's always a way, most always a way to make you more comfortable. And if you're comfortable, your brain is going to be able to help you out a lot more. So as you're doing this, intentionally exhale as you press your foot Follow the force from your foot to your pelvis and diagonally to your right arm and your hand. And then just for the contrast, intentionally inhale as you're pressing on your foot, thinking of lengthening your arm. See? So you gave your brain some vital information. Now go back to doing exhaling as you move. And be sure each time that you come back, you relax, you let everything go, so that you're starting from a new place. Because your brain is busy creating new connections. So each time you want to let everything relax so that you start from that fresh point. But you keep thinking and intending the force to go through your skeleton, from your foot, your pelvis, to your opposite arm and hand. And you're using your pelvis as your power generator. And remember, for your power generator to be functioning, you have to let that belly go. You can't suck that in. You have to soften your chest, free your ribs and your sternum. And then let it go. Slowly bring your arm down, lengthen your leg, and rest. It's the feeling of the contrast that's actually our brain's teacher. And now bend your right knee, stand your right foot, and press gently, just small little movements, but intending the force to go through your skeleton to your hip and to lift off the floor and roll to the left. And as you're playing with it, explore doing it with your belly in a time or two, and then do it with your belly pushed out. Remembering to soften your chest, free your ribs, free your sternum. So if you think of softening your parts, that's synonymous with relaxing versus efforting. Check to be sure your knee is over your foot. And now bring your left arm up by your head, palm up, and combine the movements as you did on the other side. So you're going to be pressing on your right foot, gently intending the movement to move diagonally through your skeleton, intending the force to go from your right foot and leg diagonally through your torso to your left arm and hand. And begin to look with your head and eyes toward your left hand. So you'll be pressing on your right foot. Your pelvis is going to roll. Your belly's going to push out to the left. Your spine is going to rotate. And you're going to look with your eyes toward your hand. And as you're doing this, if you can feel the rotation in your spine and allow your head to follow your eyes, begin to look with your head and your eyes toward your hand, and then come back. But press on your right foot so the right side of your pelvis lifts, your whole spine begins to rotate. The force is going through your shoulder, your arm, and as the spine is rotating, it continues to rotate all the way up between your shoulder blades, up through your neck. And then leave it alone. Slowly bring your arm down, lengthen your legs. As our parts begin to get organized, harmonized, it can actually start feeling quite delicious. So as you're resting there now and scanning, just notice what's changing, what's different. Let yourself be curious and interested in what's happening. Now bend your left knee, stand your left foot, place your left hand behind your head. Your head is going to rest in your left hand. Head is resting in your left hand. And your face and nose is going to stay pointed towards the ceiling. So now as you press on your left foot and roll your pelvis to the right, your nose stays pointed to the ceiling, and your left side ribs begin to contract, and your right side ribs begin to expand. And your left ear moves closer to your left shoulder. So imagine this happening first, and if the support's too high under your head, it might interfere. Let's just take this much out. So you're thinking of the force going from your left foot through your lower leg to your hip joint. And when it hits your hip joint, your pelvis can rotate. The left side of your pelvis lifts. And when the left side of your pelvis lifts, your sacrum rotates, your vertebra, low back vertebra begin to rotate. And the rotation can continue on up where your ribs begin to attach. And if you think of softening your ribs and exhaling, our ribs soften more when we exhale. And if there's any discomfort, visualize and imagine. You can just lay there and physically do nothing and imagine the move. And it would be more powerful than if you're doing something that hurts. So now as you're continuing to roll your pelvis to the right, think of your left hand sliding to the side as your spine rotates. Your face still faces the ceiling. But your ribs will open up on the right side and scrunch on the left side. And it's like your pelvis and your elbow are going to move towards each other as your belly pushes out. Just do it and come back. Okay, that's what you have to do is stop if you get a cramp. And as we're doing this work, I remember how often I got leg cramps and how many people in my classes get leg cramps. So. That's good. And now the next time that you do that, think of using your arm to slide your head sideways. Keep your hand under your head and think of, go ahead and do the move, push your belly out, and think of sliding this part of yourself to the side. might have to take one of the cushions out. See if that makes it easier. That should make it easier. Right. And you're doing it right. You're letting your eyes look up that way. See, what you're doing is perfect. Okay.
Oh, I'm supposed to look that way?
Well, as you are turning and looking, your eyes are looking in the direction that your head will be rolling. So
Okay.
you don't have to exaggerate anything, but they just work together. Does that make sense? Okay, nice. And now I'm going to have to take this out for this. Okay, keep your hand there. And you're rolling that way. And then as you do it, you think of your head, your nose stays towards the ceiling, and let your elbow come out. Just let your elbow relax, and you're coming this way. Nope, your head stays there. Just relax, and now begin to rotate your spine, and your head slides this way.
Oh,
You feeling that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's different.
Yeah. And so you can think of your sternum, how your sternum has to kind of do this kind of a move too. And these ribs scrunch, these ribs open up. Is that a little high for you to slide your head? Or is it working?
You want that?
Hmm?
Yeah. That feels good to me.
Okay, good. All right. All right, how are we doing over here?
I think I'm doing okay.
Okay, let me see you. You're looking that way. Okay.
I'm looking that way?
You're pushing your belly out, rolling, and now this hand is going to slide your head this way. Your nose stays towards the ceiling. This is a little high for sliding. Go down a little bit. And so now feel how these ribs fan out, these ribs scrunch, and how your sternum. So your head basically stays facing towards the ceiling, but because you're turning, your eyes will look up that way a little bit. Just a little bit, just. Does that make sense? How are you doing, Dolores?
Okay.
Okay, let me see.
You want the hand under the head still? Okay.
Okay.
Looking that way.
Uh-huh. You're
Okay.
pushing your belly out, rolling, and then you're thinking of sliding your head this way a little bit. So your shoulders and head will come this way a little bit. You feel the difference there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then just a little bit, and then come back. It's more effective if you think of, if you want to move something, or if you want somebody to come along with you, if you're gentle, they're more likely to want to come with you than if you grab them and yank their arm. So treat yourself as though you're your friend and you want your parts to come along with you. How are we doing here? Okay, so now when you're sliding this way, that's nice. Let your eyes look that way.
Oh,
Just-
what you're saying?
Just because
Which way is the head going?
you're taking your head this way. Your head's going to stay facing the ceiling.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm going that way.
Yeah, well, you will,
Oh.
some. And you think of your belly going out, these ribs scrunching, these ribs opening up. Okay.
Good.
Got it? Okay. All right, leave it alone, lengthen your legs and rest. And notice, now how do you feel a difference?
Longer on one side than I do the other.
So should we leave you that way, or should we do the other side? Okay. All right. Now, Bend your right knee. Stand it. Put your right hand behind your head. And for a few moments, imagine how you're going to be pressing on your right foot. The force is going to go from your right foot through your lower leg to your knee, from your knee to your pelvis, and it'll begin to lift the right side of your pelvis. You're pushing your belly out to the left, and you're using your right hand to help slide your head sideways, and you're thinking of your whole spine rotating and arching. Let me get this out of the way here for a second. Your head face towards the ceiling, Dolores. There you go. And so it's like this part is going to be, you're coming this way. Relax. Okay, press on your foot. The belly's going to turn, but this part's going to stay kind of flat and come sideways a little bit. And eventually it'll lift a little bit, but as you're going up this way, think of kind of side bending. That means you're going to bend a little to the side. And don't force it, just imagine that. Imagine the vertebra side bending a little bit. And when that side bends, your sternum kind of shifts a little bit. Feel that? Okay, got it. That's all you have to do is feel it. And then your brain takes over and does the work. Okay. We want to be gentle with these parts of ours that have been stuck in their habitual position for a while, for many years probably. Okay. Nice, elegant moving. Remember, gentle is always more powerful. Beautiful. Now leave that alone. Slowly bring your arm down, lengthen your leg. Remember, our necks are, fragile is not the word, but they're delicate. So we want to be gentle. Just feel the impact on the way you're lying now, the way you're breathing, what you're feeling. Calmness of mind actually goes hand in hand with our organization. So our thinking, our mind, our intelligence, they're all related to our body organization. They're not separate, and they all support each other. And now bend your left knee, stand your left foot, bring your right arm up, palm to the ceiling, and press on your foot to roll your pelvis to the right, and just lengthen your right hand up and turn your head to look towards your right hand. That's it for today. Thanks for joining us. And as I've invited you before, anytime you'd like to join us, we're more than happy to have you. And in the meantime, I would say just keep on moving well.